Welcome back to Entertainment Banter. My name is Joel.
And I'm Matt. Happy New Year.
And we are back after 2-3 weeks of
We,
hiatus.
we deserved a vacation from ourselves. Yes. 2-3 weeks. Celebrating the holidays, COVID style.
The holiday. I think I would have done the holidays the same way. It's kind of better. To be honest, it was better without the family.
That's funny. Yeah. So, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
Hope
New
you guys
Year's.
doing
Happy
well.
Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Christmas. Merry birthday. I don't know how this all works. It never fails. You're always drinking something.
I'm always drinking something when you do it. Yep.
During this time, though, I had the pleasure of actually watching Star Wars episodes 1 through 9 by myself. I watched them all within a week. And
What's significant about that, Joel? You're a big Star Wars fan. Everybody's seen Star Wars.
No, I'm not a big Star. I don't like Star Wars.
Oh.
But I felt like it owed its due, and Matt was kind enough to be on the receiving texting end of all my rampaging, constant, what would you call it, live tweeting, but straight to your phone.
Yeah, yes. You would ask questions as you'd watch them any hour of the day.
And then he'd wake up to like 20 text messages and try to. He actually answered with a whole book one day, and it was really
Yes,
good.
we learned that if you send too much of an extended text message, it actually like sends it to this special location where you
Into
have
like a
to
text
open it.
document. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was new. I didn't know that.
Well, that's because you asked 20 questions, literally.
Dude, there's so many. Maybe because I start watching this, I just like the first thing when anyone says Star Wars to me. First off, I was really annoyed recently. Someone told me like, oh, because I started watching The Mandalorian. This is why I was curious about watching the movies.
Okay.
Until now, I've only seen each movie once. Probably when
Wow.
it came out, and the original trilogy probably way when I was young. And then I found out
Really?
I never saw episode 8. Apparently, I skipped it and went to 9. But I only watched them all.
Even though we potted about it like four
Right.
times.
I've never seen these movies at home in my home theater, because I think I saw the original trilogy when Lucas re-released them in theaters. My dad got tickets to see them each
That
time.
was the first time you saw them?
with the graphics, right? With the new added.
Yeah, the special edition
That's-
updates, yeah.
That's the first time I saw the original trilogy.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you didn't
so
even see the original trilogy then, technically.
No, and I still haven't, because the ones I watched on Disney Plus were not. They were the added.
No, definitely not. No.
Right. So I never really have seen the original trilogy that I can remember. None of these movies I watched at home. And episode 8, I thought I saw, but as I was watching it, I did not see it.
That's
So it's kind of funny.
that cracks me up.
And then Ryan Johnson pissed me off from that. But I'm not. But I was going
And
off.
you're
from
not
that.
even a Star Wars fan.
I'm not. And I was really annoyed by someone, a coworker told me recently. I was like, oh, I watched The Mandalorian. I'm like, but I'm not a Star Wars fan. He goes, you watch it, right? I'm like, yeah, well, you're a Star Wars fan now. I'm like, no, that does not
No.
make me a fan. That makes me curious.
There's a lot of things I watch that I'm
Right.
not a fan of.
It says that I'm curious by something that I have been marked as, okay, I'm a nerd. Okay, we know this. You're a nerd, Matt.
Everybody's
I'm a
a
nerd. Your dentist down the street's a nerd. But Star Wars to me is that whole level of more nerdiness that I cannot join in.
More than Star Trek?
They're on the same level to me. They're all
Okay, that's fair.
that, and like as Firefly. I hate Firefly. I heard that was the most.
Oh, yeah. That's a real weird, underground thing, especially for
Right.
such a small show.
Right. So I every time I think about it, and then the first thing you see in episode 1 is Qui-Gon Jinn. First off, I was like, oh my God, it's Liam Neeson. Texted Matt right away. I'm like, oh my God, it's Liam Neeson.
It
Get all
might actually be
excited.
good.
Yeah, and I mean, he did his character well, but when you talk about the metachlorites or whatever, the media chlorines or whatever, the bloodstream force thing, I was like, oh, this is where it goes downhill. But to me, it's the first episode, and it's the first one I'm watching. I'm like, oh, this is what it is. Blah blah blah. But you see them walking I guess to see what's the Federation, the Trade Federation, right? Because they're getting
Yes.
barred,
Yeah.
and they were going there to do peace talks or whatever. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, first off, now I have a question on that. Why are two Jedi doing these peace talks? Why are the Jedi going? Why are they're okay? First off, they're a religion, right? It's a religion.
My understanding was they were mediators.
But it's a religion. That's like right now, like say like the United States, like we're gonna send, the Catholic priest. They're gonna send the Pope to the United States.
Well,
to
you
talk
know how
to
like
us.
we send
why would they do that?
missionaries, but they send missionaries to war-torn countries. You know,
but
like,
that's
so
not. But
sometimes
they were going to talk about peace treaties.
Yeah, but they were technically between the Trade Federation and the Naboo, which is part of the Senate. So Republic, right? So
yeah.
You have two warring factions. They sent Jedi to be the neutral mediators, so they're not either side.
I guess that sort of.
But
makes
then
sense.
the Emperor forces their hand to choose a side.
Well, the Emperor, yeah, for sure. The Emperor plays both.
But they're supposed
sides.
to be neutral, so that's why they were sent. They're neutral.
But their allegiance is to the Republic.
Well, Obi-Wan says that at the end of episode 3.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
My allegiance is to the Republic, not the Sith. Or I don't know what the fuck he says now.
Well, to democracy.
To democracy, right. To democracy. Anyways, but you see them wearing their cloaks, and all I can think of is all the stupid nerds at Comic-Con wearing the same damn cloaks, and I'm like, ugh. But then I hear your ear in my ear saying, your mouth in my ear telling me, like, Joel, Star Wars opened the whole doors to everybody. Like, anyone could be in Star Wars. Like, anyone. Like, you know, when I mentioned to you when I saw the fat X-Wing fighter, like, any character, any size, any look,
that's right.
They're in Star Wars. And they all got their own action figure.
It's the first diverse group of people, even though in this day and age it's not diverse enough.
And if you're in the movie, I guarantee you're an action figure by now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really,
unless you're in the new trilogy.
If oh my God, I would try to be an extra in the movie just because I'd be like, oh, we're doing Star Wars. I want to be an extra because I'm going to be 10 action figures later down. Or I'll be a rare one that no one can get.
Right, absolutely.
So
but not
annoying.
now.
But yeah, so watching these movies made me appreciate a little more. Like, I understand it more now. Like, when you tell me things, I'm like, oh, that makes more sense. And the whole
You mean like the lore of why fans are happy or upset? Or do you mean like the story as a whole?
I understand the story as a whole. I understand why fans could be upset. It took me a second since I've only seen it once. I don't know any of the comics. I don't know any of the manga, or if there's manga or graphic novels. I don't know any of the books. I know Shadow of the Empire is the only 64 game I played, other than the Super Nintendo Star Wars games, which were amazing. But I don't know anything beyond the lore of what the movies are. So when I watched episode 8 and I saw it went okay with episode 7, and 7 opened up so many more questions.
Right.
But I can see where you stood on episode 7 of like, oh, there's so many more opportunities. Like, yeah, it's not following the books or the lore outside, but there are so many things that it could be and lead to really cool things. And then episode 8 just pretty much shat all over it.
Right. Well,
you never responded. You never responded to my awesome analogy when I told you, like, it was like Disney built, like, Force Awakens was like Disney had all your fans build this basket and like put all your hopes and dreams and the hopes and what you want and bring it back to us. Bring it back to us, Matt. Bring us the basket. And then they took this basket and they looked at it and how much care and love you put into it. Like, this is what we'd like to see in episode 8. And then Disney just put it on the ground. And then an executive went over there and said, Ryan Johnson, you can go over there and look at it. He did. He took his pants down and he just diarrhea shit all over it. And then he handed it back to you and said, how's this? You know, he just didn't give a fuck.
I think I didn't respond because it seemed pretty accurate.
Because, like, honestly, like, as I watched you, as you watch the movie as not a real fan, you're like, okay, it kind of works. But then as you talk to a fan, I noticed that you had more emotion to it. So when you were talking about Luke and how he pretty much was portrayed as a douchebag in episode 8. Completely. Absolutely. And almost, and how you mentioned an episode, and you told me things, and of course you kind of ruined my interpretation, my analysis of the movies. Yeah. Because you kind of influenced in me, but it made sense because you're like, at the end of episode 7, Luke was looking at a grave. It was obviously a grave. You get to that same scene in episode 8, it's changed a little bit. It doesn't look like as much as a grave anymore.
Well, and you can throw out all the stuff, the books prior to and everything.
Absolutely.
You can throw all that out. If you just look at episode 7, there was a lot of foreshadowing. There was a lot of doors being opened.
A lot of doors.
And so, you know, when you watch 8, it just seems like Ryan Johnson closed every door that JJ opened. That's
right.
And so everything that we were led to believe was not the case.
So
which is fine, except the continuity started to change and it didn't make sense.
Right, and him killing off Admiral Akbar, which I didn't even notice, because the whole Leia having the Force and being out in space and somehow Mary popping herself back into the ship threw you off of who got killed, because it was Admiral Akbar. And to someone who's not a huge fan of Star Wars or not really a fan at all, I didn't even notice. You know what I mean? And you were like, you didn't see him die. I'm like, no. Matter of fact, I didn't even notice the Junior. I didn't even notice the Junior in episode 9, to be honest. I was waiting for that.
Well, that's implied. It's implied.
No, I didn't see that character.
Yeah, he's there. He's there.
So it was just like, but I did notice when he when he first grabbed the lightsaber in episode 8 and he threw it off Thor's shoulder, and then and then you find out that Luke was going to try to kill Ben, but then he had like a lapse of sanity, and it's like, Luke. And then you told me, honestly, as you look back at it, Luke would not have done that.
Right.
And they brought that feeling back when in episode 9, when he was like, you don't treat a lightsaber like that. And I was like, oh, it's a fuck you to Rian Johnson. You're absolutely right. It totally was. And then that whole scene in Mandalorian with Luke at the end. If you haven't seen Mandalorian yet, go fuck yourself. So Luke,
it's the only Disney Plus show that's actually on time.
And well, we'll see on January 15th with WandaVision.
Number 2. How many years has Plus been out?
It just came out.
The second Plus show that matters.
Well, I know, but it's only been out for a year. October was its year anniversary, I think, right?
All right, fair enough.
Okay, but anyways, so then you got Mandalorian Luke, and then you got Mandalorian Luke. That's funny, and then Mandalorian Luke, who freaking destroyed and was an awesome Jedi, and you got him, and you're just like,
almost too awesome though.
Yeah. And then you're like, to me, I was like, I texted you, and I texted Nick why the fuck should I care that Luke's here? But then you kind of see the grand scheme of themes on that. So kind of you're bringing back what Luke is. You see that Luke, and then you see that Luke in episode 9 because he's the Force Luke, and you're just like, that works better. But then you try to look at that Luke, and then he turns into episode 8 Luke. You're like, no, that he wouldn't do that.
Right.
So it's almost like, Rian Johnson, why'd you make Luke look like a douchebag? You twat. I actually did an Instagram story and tagged you in it because I was so annoyed.
Ryan
really?
Johnson, I haven't had a chance to look at anything yet.
Rian Johnson, not you.
Gotcha.
It was a rant. Even for me not being a Star Wars fan and seeing all those movies, I can see that episode 8 was the bastard child, and it was just a fuck up. It does work along with the movie, and there are some small things in that movie you could reshoot and make better and just keep the whole trilogy working. Even with Rey as fucking Palpatine Jr. or whatever. But
Grand Jr.
Whatever it is, you can still keep all that, but you gotta get rid of some of the other shit, like the Luke being a douchebag and fixing some small things here and there. You could probably salvage it, but we'll.
As always, there's politics involved in that situation. People that don't understand the mechanics of the business world. So the reason why, that movie was made the way it was in 8 was Rian Johnson was trying to make a hard left detour for his trilogy and Kathleen Kennedy's vision. So they were trying to literally, Kylo Ren, I said it in the other pod a year ago, Kylo Ren even says in his movie, Rian Johnson's movie, let the past die. It was straight up to the fans.
He was talking
let
to
the
you
past
guys.
Die.
Yeah.
We're making something new for a new generation, and we're going to take a hard left. So it's not even just a matter of the Star Wars storyline as we used to know it, but they were also making an effort to say, we're going in this direction now, get with the program or else.
Well, that's also that scene, too, when I mentioned, too, that one moment, there's that one scene on the bridge where Poe comes onto the bridge. And he's rushing on to talk to the new captain because Leia is unconscious right now from her Force usings, and he runs into the new captain, commander, whatever, and it's the purple hair girl, and then she talks down to him, and it's the only time you see on the bridge. It's the only time you see this one scene is that there's only females on the bridge. It's only Poe's the only male, and she talks down to him. She depowers him. She empowers herself, and it's almost like this is what Kathleen Kennedy was represented by the purple hair girl, and all the true Star Wars fans were represented by Poe. And it's just we're going to tell you how this shit's going to go. Now sit back.
And you can say that's all speculation, but Kathleen Kennedy literally said the Force was female. And she had that famous picture of the shirts with all the girls together. So it's like, it's pretty obvious like where she wanted to go. And Ryan Johnson was on board because why wouldn't you be? Kathleen Kennedy's in charge of everything. And she says, hey, little boy, you come with me and I'll let you do whatever you want. You could be the next George Lucas of Lucasfilm.
And you're gonna have your own trilogy after this.
Yeah, you can have your own trilogy, and because you create all this from scratch, you'll get all the royalties forever, just like Lucas did.
Yeah, because he created movie 8 on his own, right? It said written and directed by him. It's the only time, like at the beginning of the movie, it said directed by J.J. Abrams for episode 7 and 8. But for episode 7 and 9, episode 8, it said written and directed by Ryan Johnson. Like they had to make sure we knew it was all him, that he was the douchebag that ruined it all.
Well, I mean, at the time, he thought he was, the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah.
He honestly, it was not. There were some good scenes in that movie, but
there were good. And I this is why I said. I think I said it when we plotted a year ago about it too, but or 2 years ago now. I don't know. But there are. If it wasn't a Star Wars film, if you just looked at it as a film and you didn't have any attachment to the characters, there were a lot of great moments in the film, for sure. What I call eye candy moments. But overall, the story just didn't make sense. Even in his film, it didn't make sense. The Rose character, I don't hate the actress. I don't hate the character. What I hate is how the character was used.
Right.
And and like I said before, like
she was a hypocrite.
Right. Well, the thing is like the whole thing that drove her character was her sister died for this cause. And she's going to stop everybody from abandoning the cause. Like you're not going to, I'm going to zap you if you try to run away when the chips are down. I'm going to try to do whatever I can to save what's left of our crew through traveling here, there, and everywhere. I'm going to show you the plight that's been going around the galaxy because, this is why I fight. And then at the end of the movie, when the chips are down, when everyone's at their most desperate hour, what does she do? She prevents the last-ditch effort to save her people by knocking into some guy's ship, and then she kisses him as their base is being hit by this massive blaster, and then she says, love's going to save us.
That wasn't some guy. That was Finn.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that is a 180 from what we met her, and we were told this is her values, and then at the last second, suddenly she's a sellout?
Yeah.
For Finn? Like, I'm gonna bail out all my beliefs to get laid with Finn,
and then nothing ever occurs beyond that.
Well, that's that Twilight shit that Ryan Johnson also tried to mix in, like Raylo and all this other shit. Like, who's gonna be banging who? Who's taking who to the prom? Like,
did you just use the phrase Raylo?
Yeah, I did, because that's what everyone was saying. Like, I didn't even consider the Raylo option until stupid people started saying it. Like, to me, I was just like, what's the point? You know what I mean? What's the point of all that? That has nothing to do with the story.
Nothing. And it's just, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, that bothered me. That whole Rose situation.
So what did you think of the 9 then? Because do you think like they tried to was it just like I thought damage control, or what did you think? What did it have any kind of story that?
It worked. It worked well to finish up what they did, and it was fixing some of the bullshit that Ryan Johnson set up. So it was kind of like damage control, but it was also like you could tell you can tell that there's a lot more to that movie than they let you see.
Oh, absolutely. The cutting room floor is a place I would love to be looking at right now.
Definitely, there was a lot of cool stuff going on that floor. But
so
it did turn out well for what it was. It still ended it pretty good. It was just weird that she decided to take the Skywalker name at the end, but I get it. I get why she did it, but it was just like, okay. And the whole like Ben Solo redeeming himself and giving his life force to her. Like I like the idea that they were connected. I didn't like the idea that they were connected and they weren't related. I like the idea when you started telling me like, oh, it could have been Luke's daughter and Luke didn't want to tell her, and it would have been great too. In that scene where he sits down next to her after the lightsaber gets thrown in the fire and he sits down next to her and talks to her, and like if we knew that you were Palpatine's daughter or granddaughter, it would have been a great scene that when he goes like, you're my daughter. And like that would have been a nice, touching, holy shit moment.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of hints throughout all of JJ's work that indicate that was probably the route they were going to eventually go. I could be wrong. Maybe they weren't. But
it would have hit a lot harder then.
It would. I think there was just a lot of, even if it was misdirection. Like if JJ wanted us to believe that and then he misdirected us, fine. But I feel it really would have been the story arc, and I gave you a long list of reasons why, because
and it makes sense. But it bothered me though. It's like when she meets her grandfather, Palpatine, Emperor, and he goes, "You need to strike me down now, so you take over and you become the Empress." Right. It's like, first off, just do that. You don't change who you are, and then you can just stop what's going on. Or he takes the life force from Ben and her, and then he's then she strikes him down. I'm confused, Matt. She strikes him down regardless. I'm confused.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a terrible story because, one, if you're gonna clone yourself and bring yourself back, which is one of the books that is supposedly out there,
right?
Why would you come back in the shittiest form that you used to be? Like, I'm gonna pick when I was really old and had to pee 7 times a night. Or I'm going to clone myself when I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So that's the first thing. And then you've already cloned yourself, but that's not enough. You need to inhabit your granddaughter's body. Like, that doesn't make sense.
And he's connected to this umbilical cord that he can't be detached from, I guess.
I'm just saying, like, if you have the technology, it's like you could clone emperors, dark, but jetpacks are new, even though Boba Fett had one in Return of the Jedi.
But what about Grogu? Why is Grogu's blood being used irrationally on this?
That's my theory. You know that. That's my theory.
Right.
That's
we
how
said it here
first.
Try
to bring the Emperor back. It's not perfect because he's half Yoda character now. I don't know.
We said this here first, and it was Grogu, not Yoda. Anyways, And then it was so confusing with all that shit, and then how come Palpatine's son, whatever, didn't have the Force or whatever, the dark side? Why did it skip a generation?
That Palpatine got laid in the last 30 years blows my mind. Like, I can understand if he pulled a Shmi where he just raped somebody mentally through the Force, but like, the fact that he had a family and we never saw it, I'm sorry. No, that's so obscure. And that his son's a wuss. Look, if his son was a wuss, he wouldn't have made it past fucking first grade. The Emperor would have choked his ass to death.
Well, then I think about, like, okay, when we first meet Palpatine, it is in episode 1. We see him, he's old man. Maybe he already had that family and left them because they're like, oh, we're not involved in politics, and it was already like, they already got the left. But then, like, he has a grandchild, and now he wants the grandchild. Like, I don't get why if Anakin passed it to Luke and Leia pass it on to Ben, how come not them together? You know what I mean?
None of it makes sense.
But then how come the dark side skips a generation? I'm so confused.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible writing.
But apparently, I did like the idea of Ben Solo becoming back to the light side all the way, because it's like it runs in the family. They go dark side and they come back. You know what I mean?
Well, they were supposed to have a dark acolyte. Under Disney's rule, there was supposed to be a dark acolyte, and some reason Kathleen Kennedy probably they nixed that idea. So the son was probably like a last ditch idea to throw in there real quick, because they still had to tie all of the loose ends that Rian Johnson snipped. So
Palpatine's son.
Yeah, to tie in Rey to something, make her meaningful some way, somehow.
Right. They didn't have to add that. They could have literally still made it Luke's son or Luke's daughter. They could have.
No, I know. It would have been, people would have been more accepting, but Kathleen Kennedy doesn't want Luke, the character of Luke, for some reason, to have any credibility whatsoever.
That's so ridiculous. And were you upset, Matt, as a true Star Wars fan? Were you upset that they were making Rey the main character in Force Awakens?
No.
Were you upset by that?
No, absolutely not.
And would you under oath say yes or no question? Rey was a female, was she not?
I believe she was.
Yes or no, Matt?
But I mean, there's a lot of things.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
She's a female. Great.
Yes.
Yes or no? Was she the main protagonist in Star Wars?
Yeah, I think she was great.
Okay.
I didn't hate the character.
So
Rey.
what was the problem?
Any of the characters.
So you got your way. You got a strong female lead in these fucking Star Wars. Why'd you have to piss on and shit on the whole movie? Like, what was their fucking? They already got their lead. The fucking lead. And then they had Leia being commander. Like, you already had your strong female leads. Why'd you have to shit on Luke and Han? I do know Harrison Ford wanted to get killed in the first one. He was like, I'm not doing the movie unless I get killed. I heard his interview with him or whatever. He didn't want to do it unless he was being killed.
Well, at Empire Strikes Back, he was done. He didn't want to do Jedi. But
he didn't.
But then but the checks was right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and then it was just, I just can't get over the fact in episode 8 as well with that random thief guy they found. The guy they went looking for, they didn't find. They got this other random guy who sold him out.
Yeah, that plot
is
the worst.
And then he was just gone. And then that was it. Like I thought he came back to save them, and it was just like,
and it wasn't even the thief they were after.
No, and then he was just, and he had a weird. He was trying to be memorable with his weird acting, like his like stutter. And then he was just
memorable.
He was there for one moment. He was just there to go. You like, oh, this ship was to sell things to the bad and
another
the
political
guys.
thing. Yeah,
there's no sides in business. And then he left.
Yeah. Well, we need to be educated on the virtues of war.
Apparently.
So I get it. You know what's funny about that scene, real quick too, is as always, like I feel like there was things that were meant more. Because when the red plum bloom, they kept talking about that, and
right,
there was a guy that was gambling that had it, and he shoots off his woman. He shoots off his woman, but the woman makes it look like she's interested more in these guys than her man. So maybe the red plum bloom was where you go to find the informant, but the informant wasn't the man, but maybe the woman next to the man. Because I hate when films focus on things because everything's intentional.
Right. And they do it on purpose. There's a reason why.
So that woman literally, while he's shooing her off gambling, she takes an interest in them. But that's as far as it goes. And if that's misdirection or just really bad editing, I don't know. But it made me feel in that moment she's the one they're supposed to go to.
That whole... But honestly, there's a lot of holes throughout the whole Star Wars.
Even Disney trilogy.
Even the Disney trilogy, they were trying to fix the George Lucas trilogy, not the original trilogy, the episodes 1, 2, and 3 with the
prequels.
You had Maze talking about the Force, how it's in everything. They were trying to ignore that it was blood in your stream.
Yeah, that was a Lucas thing. And I think the trilogy, I could be wrong, the trilogy, the 7, 8, 9 that Lucas was pitching to Disney, it actually could have been worse than Disney's if it was, in fact, what I think it is. Which the idea of Lucas bringing the Force down, the midi-chlorians were supposed to have even more of a storyline.
Oh my god!
Now you're having like this Force battle on a molecular level.
But that's what he wanted. That was the original intent. You know what I mean? That was it. If that's what that was supposed to be, then that was what it would be.
Been ridiculous, though.
But if that's what he wanted, that's what he wanted. You know, that was his original vision. When he first did the original trilogy, everyone probably looked at him like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know what I mean? That was his vision.
I get it.
But I gotta say, I'm gonna, since we're running short on time, I got one final thought for you.
Okay.
There's one main theme that stayed constant throughout all of 9 Star Wars movies.
All right, what's that?
OSHA does not exist. There are no hand railings anywhere in those movies.
So you said Family Guy got it right.
They got it right. Literally, there are no... Like when Han dies, he's on a bridge. There's no hand railings. When the Death Star shoots its beam in episodes 4 and 6, there is no railing there.
It's funny that you say that
There's
because
just no railings.
As a kid, watching those films, I actually enjoyed that aspect. I actually... Thinking as a kid, think about this, like, you know, like if you've ever, when you're younger especially, like if you're climbing something high for the first time, you get scared, right? You know what I mean? Like if a vertical ladder that you have to go to a tree house for the first time, you know what I mean? Something like that, you know? You're scared. You're like, you've never done it before. And I was thinking like those long platforms over, like you said, massive areas.
Massive holes.
No railings. You know what I mean? Like, if you were walking on that platform, you had to pass somebody. If that person wanted to be a real dick, they just push you and you fall, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and so I always thought that was kind of what made Star Wars, that world, kind of cool because you did have to have your shit together. It's almost like Darwinism. Like, you know, if they're meant to fall, they're going to fall. If you're that stupid and you're going to fall, then... We don't watch you here. So
pretty much only the strong survive. They got rid of all
the,
there are no warning labels in anywhere in Star Wars.
In Star Wars, they expect you to be smart enough to walk on a bridge.
Well, also in episode 1, when Qui-Gon dies, they're in that one room. Yes. And Obi-Wan falls down that hole. There's no railing there either, buddy. There's no railings anywhere. But there's no railings
I feel like
anywhere.
But but that area was like walking into a nuclear reactor kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really supposed to be in there.
I watched.
Only the maintenance technician will occasionally go in.
Watched Chernobyl, and they had hand railings inside the reactor. All right, buddy. All right.
Well, I'm sure they got melted. I'm sure they're not there now.
And they're not there now. The elephant's foot probably melted them through. But there were railings there. When that guy leaned over the railing and looked his head down and looked at the elephant's foot, and then he died pretty much instantly. You got to watch that series. You got to watch Chernobyl, man.
I know. I wanted to. Oof. It's too depressing.
It's only 8 episodes, but it's literally.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's great.
It's all real. It's scary real.
Yeah. Well, the elephant foot is like the creepiest thing I've ever.
Well, it's still there.
Of course it's still there.
It's still affecting our world now.
Yeah. Well, it's a slow living thing, just moving. There's no way to stop it.
It's molten nuclear. Blah.
Waste. It's
not waste. It's melted. Melted. It melted the cement or the metal, and it's moving. It's radioactive material. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But no, OSHA doesn't exist in the Star Wars world, and just remember, folks and kids out there, Star Wars takes place long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away, meaning it's set in the past.
So I have one final thought question for you, and then I'll let you go.
I had my final thought. No railings.
I know that's
most common theme. At least everyone got that right. Everyone, nobody who directed it.
What is based on what you've seen and now your brief history lesson, because it's all fresh in your mind.
Right.
What do you think Disney is going to do? Do you think they're gonna backpedal and start giving the original Star Wars the credit it deserves? Or do you think they're still going to just try to hit from all sides and see what ticks?
Well, I can go off your theory is pretty spot on. You saying that they're dividing up Lucasfilms, and like you got the Lucas side and then you got the Kathleen Kennedy side, and they're pretty much and Chapek is like, you guys can do what you want, and whoever makes it on top is winning. And of course, Kathleen Kennedy's side is failing, and Lucas side is winning, because obviously The Mandalorian was the Lucas side, and that Luke episode was the highest rating Star Wars thing ever since Disney. That's the biggest episode ever since Disney bought Star Wars.
Yeah.
So other than Force Awakens coming to theater for the first time, that's a pretty...
Well, I want to put a footnote too, because Kathleen Kennedy's name is on The Mandalorian. So if people that don't do their homework, they'll say, "Oh, what are you talking about? Kathleen Kennedy did The Mandalorian." She fronts the money. She's a producer. She's not actually involved creatively.
Her title is still president of Lucasfilms, too. Remember that.
It's different.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and that your theory there, I can see, I've already heard rumors or almost confirmed rumors that they are saying that the new trilogy is no longer canon, but that means they got to have a new trilogy in the works for that. And with that being done, I don't know if that's a little too late. It's a lot of money too. I can see them doing crowd control or damage control and going back and actually doing what you said. They're going to release a new episode 9 in a sense, or maybe a new episode
8 into 9,
8 and 9, or 8 into 9, or
it's
maybe
possible. It's gonna be on Disney Plus.
They could release a new episode 8 with the new cuts, new 9 with new cuts, and then probably maybe an 8.5, like a half hour like prologue to episode 9. You know what I mean? Like they'll probably do something like that, and I can see that happening for sure. And then rolling into, they have a ton of Star Wars shit planned now, so
yeah. Well, the thing is, all those actors, which that's the real tragedy too. I'm sorry, I gotta say my final thought. It's kind of a big one, so bear with me. When it comes to the actors,
and that's all, folks.
Yeah, the people that make the film.
Go on.
I feel like there's been a disservice to those actors across the board through all generations. I think Hayden Christensen has gotten a bad rap because of all of the. No, I'm being serious, because of the dialogue that was written. He had to make it work as best he could. I feel like Mark Hamill definitely got screwed numerous times, because the original cast, they didn't get royalties from Star Wars. So, when they got recast for Disney, that's the first time they probably got that in their contracts. And then they got screwed out of it. They got screwed out of their roles. At least Mark Hamill did. And then you got this new cast. Kelly Marie Tran got trashed on for being Rose. But again, it's funny how people can't separate an actress from a character. And to me, the characters were good. The actresses were good. The story and the dialogue and the plots were not good. That's the problem. It's not the actors or the characters' faults. It's everything else. And these three actors, new actors, four if you include Kelly Marie, I thought they did a good job. I liked them. I enjoyed them. But now, because of all of this Disney backlash, most of them are not willing to come back. So even if they fix 8 and 9, unless the checks are ginormous, most of those actors said they're done with Star Wars, Disney Star Wars.
That sucks, because I remember when they were showing behind the scenes of The Force Awakens and you saw Daisy and the guy who played Poe, and they're like, we're making the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
And like they're on the set, we're actually doing Star Wars. Like, it was so exciting. And now they're so bitter about it. It's so sad.
It just shows you, if you take things in the wrong direction based on politics as opposed to storytelling, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, do it right the first time, people.
I think the message here is, Matt, is that politics ruin our shows. Unless the show is about politics, House of Cards.
Right.
And then when your main actor touches a little boy long ago and it catches up to him, that ruins those shows.
Absolutely. Sure does.
But don't mix politics into this shit. Unless politics, like, make
Unless
fun
it's
of
part of the story.
It's part of the story.
If it's well thought out, established, historical, but not a viewpoint of politics, I should say. Maybe it's a viewpoint of politics.
Shove it in our face.
Right. And if you do it, you have to do it through character storytelling.
Development and character. And like, don't it's not like, I don't need a character coming on the screen going, by the way, I'm a lesbian and I love guys too. What?
You know what's interesting? It's like, we're going to go on forever about this.
We will.
But like the Admiral Hordo, right? The character that episode 8, the girl, right? She's abundantly clear about, smacking Poe down, right? But then she says she likes him.
Right.
Right? At the end, she's like, I like this one. He's a keeper, right? So she's not all bad based on the dialogue.
Well, you started hating her, and then when she said it, you're like, oh, okay, maybe.
Right, but it's like a little too late. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like,
they
it's
wanted you to
like,
feel sorry for her when she tried to kill herself, or when she
exactly, and she
still didn't.
Like, maybe we saw her at a bad time in her life, right? When maybe that was
she did have to take over. She did have to take over a whole command, and not expecting to. But yeah, go on.
But you have to remember, in the film world, where you only have 2 hours to establish everything, if you want to show us them, you got to show us them as efficiently as possible. And I feel like they didn't do that character justice. I think that character would have been liked more had they done it in a way other than the way they did it.
I can see that.
So, anyways, that's it. That's my final thought. So thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter. My name is Matt.
And my name is Joel. I am also OSHA 30 certified. And I'm done.